Coming over from 5e, Pathfinder 1e veteran, or brand new to tabletop role-playing gaming and trying to learn the rules of Pathfinder Second Edition? Then this video is tailor-suited just for you. This video is going to cover the key terms and rules format so that you can begin your Pathfinder Second Edition remastered journey. Pathfinder 2e contains a variety of key terms that are crucial to understanding the gameplay, and understanding these terms will help you make informed decisions during gameplay. This video will be chaptered so you can go back to any point in time in the video and review any key terms that you didn't get the first time or just want to review. During this next segment, whenever I turn black and white, like this, it means I'm going over the rules as written. Whenever I turn back in color, like this, it means I'm giving you my 2 cents or any additional information you may need. Ready? Let's keep going. Key terms. Action. During encounters, each creature gets 3 actions during their turn. These actions can be spent to attack, interact with objects, move, and use special abilities. These are depicted by the following symbols. Ancestry. An ancestry is the broad family of people that a character belongs to. Ancestry determines a character's starting hit points, languages, senses, and speed, and also grants access to those ancestries' ancestry feats. Pathfinder Second Edition uses the term ancestry instead of race, like you'll see in many other games. Check. Whenever a character attempts an action where success is uncertain, they may roll a check. This is a roll of 1 20-sided die plus the named proficiency bonus. Unlike other d20 based games, this includes attack rolls, which will be important later. Bonuses and penalties. Bonuses and penalties apply to checks and certain statistics. There are several types of bonuses and penalties. If you have more than 1 bonus from the same type, you only get the highest bonus. Likewise with worst or penalties. There are many situations where either can apply, but after dealing with these situations a few times repeatedly, you become accustomed to them. If you're playing with a virtual tabletop, such as Foundry VTT, because it's the best one, all of this is taken care of for you. Difficulty class, or DC, the number needed to succeed at a check. Some checks are static, like Aid, which has a DC 20. Hold on, what? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Hold on. Oh, that can't be right. No, it's right here. Oh, holy crap, it is. DC 15. Now that's an improvement if I've ever seen one. Make Aid great again. Mission accomplished, Paizo. Okay, sorry for the rant, but that is a massive change. DC 15, massive change. It used to be 20. It's way better. A majority of checks are level-based, which uses this chart here, and are modified based on the difficulty that the Game Master determines using this chart here. Let's go ahead and cover one of the biggest differences that Pathfinder Second Edition has when it comes to DC's difficulty checks. The 4 levels of success. Once a DC has been determined by the Game Master, if you meet the DC, you succeed. If you got 10 or more above it, you critically succeed. If you didn't meet it, you fail. But if you didn't meet it by 10 or more, meaning 10 or less, below the DC, you critically fail. A natural 20 means you raise your success by 1 step, whatever the result was. And a natural 1, you lower the result by 1 step, no matter what. Attack. When a creature tries to harm another creature, it makes a strike or uses some other attack action. Most attacks are strikes made with a weapon, but a character might strike with their fist, grapple, shove, or trip with their hands, or even attack with a spell. Not much to say about this one. This one's pretty much 100% accurate. Armor class. All creatures have an armor class. This score represents how difficult they are to hit and damage. It serves as a difficulty class for hitting a creature with an attack. Hold up there. Pay attention to that. Your AC armor class is the DC of someone's attack. An attack is seen as a check, not an attack roll, because it's a D20 roll like any other check. This is crucial because it makes Pathfinder Second Edition feel so much more balanced than other D20 difficulty-based games. Because everything scales in the game, there is a large difference between the lowest armor class and highest armor class that creatures can have in the game. Look at the AC of the Skeleton Champion. 19, not bad. What about a Grave Knight? 31! Whoa, hey, Rue Lich, 42? If you're coming from other games, this may seem a bit crazy, but I assure you they aren't as bad as they seem relative to the level at which you'd be fighting and the AC you would have, your attack bonuses, etc. Background. A background represents a character's experience before they took up the life of an adventurer. Each background grants a feat and training in one or more skills. Your background also affects your starting attributes. Pretty important. Class. Class represents the adventuring profession chosen by a character. The character's class determines most of their proficiencies, grants the character starting hit points, and each time they gain a new level, and gives access to a set of class feats. I take it that 98% of you that clicked on this video know what a class is. Condition. An ongoing effect that changes how a character can act or that alters some of their statistics is called a condition. I cannot emphasize this enough. Conditions in Pathfinder Second Edition compared to other games will make or break a combat encounter. Some can even affect you outside of combat and make your character's life miserable. Currency. The most common currencies in the game are gold pieces and silver pieces. One gold piece is worth 10 silver. In addition, 1 silver is worth 10 copper, and 10 gold is worth 1 platinum piece. Unlike that, there is actually a living, breathing economy, and having enough silver or gold actually matters. Because as you can see, things get expensive. Feat. A feat is an ability that you can select for your character due to their ancestry, background, class, general training, or skill training. Some feats grant the ability to use special actions, while others make your existing actions more effective. This is another major sell point in Pathfinder Second Edition. You get feats at least once every other level, and some classes get access to feats at every single level. These feat options are really what make your character stand out. You could have 4 clerics that worship the same deity, but play completely different due to their feat selections, even as early as level 1. The Game Master, or GM. The Game Master is the player who adjudicates the rules and narrates the various elements of the Pathfinder story and world that the other players explore. The Game Master uses the rules found in the Pathfinder GM core. You heard that right? Yes, the GM is a player too, which means they should be having as much fun as the other players at the table. Golarion. Pathfinder is set on the planet of Golarion during the Age of Lost Omens. It is an ancient world with a rich diversity of people and cultures, exciting locations to explore, and deadly villains. In case you're new here, I have plenty of videos about the lore of Golarion, ranging from deities to regions, legends, and more. Hit points. Hit points represent the amount of punishment a creature can take before it falls unconscious and begins dying. Damage decreases hit points on a 1-to-1 basis, while healing restores hit points at the same rate. Like class, I'm sure that HP is not a novel concept. Round. A round is a period of time during an encounter in which all participants get a chance to act. A round represents approximately 6 seconds in game time. That's the whole thing. Turn. During the course of a round, each creature gets a single turn according to their initiative. A creature can typically use up to 3 actions during their turn. Each creature has a turn in a round. Easy enough. Initiative. At the start of an encounter, all creatures involved roll for initiative to determine in which order they will act. The higher the result of this roll, the earlier a creature acts. Well, let's already taken care of this. As you can see, Mina and Niall both tied at a score of 28. As a side note, if players tie, they can choose amongst themselves who acts first on their turns at the beginning of each round. If a player ties with an enemy goes first. although there are exceptions. Level. A level is a number that measures something's overall power. Player characters have a level ranging from 1st to 20th, representing their level of experience. Monsters, NPCs, hazards, diseases, and poisons have levels ranging from -1 to 30 that measure the danger they pose. An item's level usually is within the range of 0 to 20, but sometimes they're higher, and those are usually artifacts. Everything has a level. Everything. Even settlements, such as a village, town, city, metropolis. A longsword is a level 0 item, valued at 1 gold piece. But once you enchant it to become a +1 longsword, the value increases because the rune needed to make it a +1 weapon is valued at 35 gold. Now the longsword is valued at 35 gold. Player character, or PC. This is a character created and controlled by a player. And if that wasn't obvious, this is you, of course, unless I'm speaking to the GM. Non-player character.
Ice cream so good, thank you, Jackie. Gang gang, gang gang, gang gang. Oh, special, gang gang, rah rah rah, gang gang, gang gang, balloon.
It's definitely not that. A non-player character, controlled by the GM, interacts with the players and helps advance the story. I'd say I agree with this most of the time, but not all NPCs advance the story. Some can be inserted in the story just for fun, or even just for a joke. Perception. Perception measures your character's ability to notice hidden objects or unusual situations, and it usually determines how quickly the character springs into action in combat. Perception is usually the check you use for your initiative roll, but you can also use different skills based on what you were doing right before you entered combat. If you were trying to press the gang leader to tell you where the drops are going, well then you could use deception, diplomacy, or intimidation instead. Wait, what's that? A game that lets you use your skills that you're proficient in to your advantage? Yeah. Proficiency. Proficiency is a system that measures a character's aptitude at a specific task or quality, and it has 5 ranks. Untrained, trained, expert, master, and legendary. Proficiency gives you a bonus that's added when determining the following modifiers and statistics: AC, attack rolls, perception, saving throws, skills, and the effectiveness of spells. If you're untrained, your proficiency is +0 or 0. If you're trained, expert, master, or legendary, your proficiency bonus equals your level +2, 4, 6, or 8, respectively. This is another sell point of Pathfinder Second Edition, and it also is what sets you apart from other PCs or NPCs that share similar skills to your character. There are even mechanics in the game that require you to have a certain proficiency level to even attempt a check, such as traps and hazards beyond a certain level. Rarity. Some elements of the game have a rarity to denote how rare they are encountered in the world. Get it? Rarity primarily applies to equipment and magic items, but spells, feats, and other rule elements may also have a rarity. If no rarity appears in the traits of an item, spell, or other game element, it's assumed to be of common rarity. Uncommon options for characters are available to only those who have a special training, grew up in a certain culture, or come from a particular part of the world. This can also be explained with an access entry. Explain criteria for the characters to choose it as a common option. Rare options are almost impossible to find and are usually only given out by the GM, while unique ones are literally only one of a kind. The only thing I really have to add here is that trying to recall or identify something that is uncommon, rare, or unique is much harder than something that is common. Role-playing, or RP, describing a character's actions, often while acting from the perspective of the character, is called role-playing. When a character speaks or describes their actions from the perspective of the character, they are in character. For more information, be sure to check out the video I released just before this one. Roll versus roll.
Nice.
Saving throw. When a creature is subject to a dangerous effect that must be avoided, it attempts a saving throw to mitigate the effect. You attempt a saving throw automatically. It doesn't require you to use an action or reaction or anything like that. Unlike most checks, the character who isn't acting rolls the d20 saving throw, and the creature who is acting provides the DC. There are 3 types of saving throws. Fortitude, to resist diseases, poisons, and physical effects. Reflex, to evade effects a character would quickly dodge. And Will, to resist effects that would target the mind and personality of the character. The only thing to remember is that the different classes start with set proficiencies for the 3 saving throws. If you don't like the initial proficiencies your class provides, but really like the idea of the class, there are ways to work around them. Be sure to check out Canny Acumen if you want to get advanced. Skill. A skill represents a character's ability to perform certain tasks that require instruction or practice. All characters are trained in certain skills due to their background and class. Unlike other games, your class gives you 1 or 2 skills that you start trained in, and your background gives you additional 1 or 2, but you pick all of the other skills that you're trained in. Do you want to be a wizard that's trained in athletics and religion? Go for it. Speed. Speed is the distance a character can move using a single action, measured in feet. Keynote there, a single action. So one thing you'll notice if you're coming from is that the default speed for most characters and creatures is 25. That's because you can move that much each action. So if you can move 25 feet, you can move up to 75 feet if you spent all 3 actions. Spell. Spells are magical effects created by performing mystical incantations and gestures known only to those with special training or inborn abilities. Casting a spell is an activity that usually costs 2 actions. Each spell specifies what it targets, the actions needed to cast it, its effects, and how it can be resisted. Spells have ranks ranging from 1st to 10th, which measures their power. Characters and monsters can usually only cast a certain number of spells at any given rank. There are over 700 spells.
You serious?
Not including focus, uncommon, rare, and ritual spells. I will be covering spells and the 4 spell traditions in a future video. Trait. A trait is a keyword that conveys additional information about a rules element, such as which ancestry a feat belongs to, or the rarity of an item. Often, a trait indicates how other rules interact with an ability, creature, item, or another rules element that has that trait. Traits resolve 99% of technical rulings. For example, does my hydraulic push spell count as a water attack even though it deals bludgeoning damage? Yeah, that's a water trait. Sure does. Attributes. The 6 attributes are split into 2 main groups, physical and mental. We'll get started with the physical first. Strength. Strength measures your character's physical power. Strength is important if your character plans to engage in close quarters combat. Your strength modifier gets added to melee damage rolls and determines how much your character can carry. Unlike that, you can only add your strength modifier to melee damage rolls, with the exception of 1 unique rogue option, Dexterity, or Dex. Dexterity measures your character's agility, balance, and reflexes. Dexterity is important if your character plans to make attacks with ranged weapons, finesse weapons, or the use of stealth to surprise foes. Your dexterity modifier is also added to your character's AC and reflex saves. Hey now, dexterity also takes care of thievery. Come on, Paizo, I don't think that's too much, but thievery, which is important. Constitution, or Con. Constitution measures your character's health and stamina. Constitution is important for all characters, but especially ones who fight in close-range combat. Your Constitution modifier is added to your hit points and Fortitude saving throws. My only 2 cents here is to not make Constitution or Con your dump stat, meaning the one you cared least about. Just ask Siren here, my rogue from my Quest for the Frozen Flame podcast that you should definitely listen to. This is Siren's HP at the beginning of an encounter. This is Siren's HP not even 2 or 3 rounds later. And this is Siren every time he tries to roll his dice. Poor Siren. Comment down below if you have that one player whose dice just hate them with a burning passion. Okay, mental attributes. Intelligence. Intelligence measures how well your character can learn and reason. A high intelligence allows your character to analyze situations and understand patterns, and it means they can become trained in additional skills and might be able to master additional languages. Be sure to take note that you get additional skills for having a higher intelligence. Unlike that, characters actually get to choose which skills they are good at. It is not predetermined, so having a higher intelligence means you get more skills, which means you're good at more things. Pretty cool. Wisdom. Wisdom measures your character's common sense, awareness, and intuition. A high wisdom helps your character detect hidden things and resist mental effects. Your wisdom modifier is added to your perception and will saving throws. Wisdom also affects a few other skills in the game as well. Charisma, or Riz as the kids call it. Charisma measures your character's personal magnetism and strength of personality. A high charisma modifier helps you build relationships and influence the thoughts and moods of others with social skills. Now, charisma can be used to do those skill checks against other NPCs, not player characters, unless they're into it and they want to do that. But be careful with that. Rules format. You still with me? I know this is a lot. The last section is the quickest and the most important.
Words about your arrest record.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
Okay. What's important to note is the statistics, skills, feats, and actions are capitalized. Words or phrases that are italicized describe a spell or magical item. There are 3 common abbreviated terms, which we've seen already, but AC for armor class, DC for difficulty class, and HP for hit points. Actions. In a turn, you are given 3 actions. Certain feats and spells can sometimes take all 3 of your actions. But outside of feats and spells, most actions only take 1 action. Reaction. You will typically only have 1 reaction per round, and you can only use it when a trigger is fulfilled. As an example, the fighter class has the reactive strike reaction. When an enemy tries to leave a fighter's reach, the fighter gets to use their reaction to strike at the enemy. Free action. A free action is typically something that can be done so quickly that it doesn't require you to use actions. For example, dropping a weapon is a free action because it takes less than a second to drop a weapon. Reading an action or feat. At the top, starting left, we have the action or feat name, followed by its action cost and the minimum level it can be acquired. Next is the trait or traits associated with it. Then, the action or feat's prerequisites, if there are any. Next, its frequency, which is usually once per day, once per hour, or once per round, etc. Then, the trigger. This is usually tied to a reaction or free action, feats such as shield block or delay. Next, the requirements. Not to be confused with prerequisites. This is usually an item-based requirement, such as treat wounds. Yes, unlike that, the medicine skill is actually useful. This main section here describes how the actual feat or action works and what it does, and if there is one, a special section beneath. The special section usually describes what happens if you take the feat more than once, if that's possible. If you made it to the end, come on, hit that like button, man. I've got more Pathfinder Second Edition Remaster content coming soon, in the works, so if you want to see when that goes live, you could subscribe and then hit the bell over there. That way you can be notified when I post them. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy.